Crew are refusing to fly A320s, worried by this mystery. Savannah?
All right, Keir Simmons, thank you very much. Deborah Hersman served as chairman of the NTSB and is now the president and CEO of the National Safety Council. Deborah, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
We've just learned that the cockpit voice recorder has been recovered, and authorities are saying it is damaged, but it is usable. What kind of information might investigators be able to glean from it? And when you hear it's damaged, what does that mean to you?
You know, there's an external casing that could be damaged. You really just want to make sure that the information inside is readable and that it's usable. You're looking at potentially a 2-hour recording, so you should get the entirety of the flight. You can hear the crew talk about, you know, takeoff procedures, any maintenance that might have been done. They might be discussing that. But also those critical minutes and seconds leading up to the crash. You want to know what's happening in the cockpit. The cockpit voice recorder is going to be critical.
And very quickly on that, how quickly do you think they'll be able to get that information from it?
Generally, you can download that information within the span of a few hours if it's not damaged, and so that'll really be the test.
It's early in this investigation, so we don't want to speculate, but one of the most perplexing facts about this seems to be that just a moment or so after reaching cruising altitude, this plane begins a descent, and as we understand it, not a fast descent, not a slow descent, what's being described as a controlled descent over 8 minutes. What do you make of that fact, and is that something that the pilots would have to initiate?
Well, I think the cockpit voice recorder is going to give them some insight into that, whether it was initiated by the crew, whether there's conversations about troubleshooting, or whether perhaps they're setting an autopilot. It's going to be really important to understand why they were doing what they did in the cockpit, and hopefully the recorder will give us that information today.
In terms of the crash site itself, and you see those images, you could hardly imagine a more forbidding place for a search and recovery, and this has been described as a plane that was pulverized along this mountainside, not even accessible by roads. How confident are you in French authorities that they will be able to quite literally piece this together?
I'm absolutely confident that the investigators are going to figure out what happened, but for sure the first days are going to be for those families, for the recovery of their loved ones, and to make sure that they have what they need.
And I'm glad you mentioned the families, because that is of foremost importance. Deborah Hersman, former chair of the NTSB, thank you very much.
Thank you.